Good morning. Two matches I would have definitely homed in on yesterday, Greece and England, but too efficient on both counts. Both sides scoring first. We saw the sudden switch now from England to the kind of scoreline we expect of those kind of odds. 15-minute break if you wanted that. Overs, nice and simple. That's more like it. And Greece, this is the fourth consecutive time they've scored 2 goals against the Irish. And that 1.8 was an absolute steal based on that head-to-head form and that win against England. Really good stuff. But a lot of the other matches I couldn't trust as far as I could throw. Faroe Islands, Latvia, Liechtenstein, Gibraltar, Malta and Moldova. I'll get my coat, as they say in the Fast Show. Looking on to today and more Nations League. It's going to get quiet about Wednesday and Thursday. Then we'll start getting some familiar names on Friday. Dortmund and St. Pauli in what should be or could be a goal fest. I think what we have to check is any upcoming Champions League, because this could be an awkward week. But let's have a look on to today. African Cup of Nations continues. Main focus for me would be on the odds-on favourites. Algeria, I like. They came from behind in the last match to win quite comfortably. I didn't play it because they didn't show up in the in-play stats, but got the equaliser while their in-play stats were pretty poor. They are one of the better sides in Africa, the North African Giants, Algeria. So that's certainly one to look out for. That's really the standout for me of these matches. So, and immediately focus, I think, on favouring Algeria. And in the Nations League, I've done the research for you, if you want to have a look at it. Belgium and France. It's a very strange market, but it was a strange market, Italy against Belgium, when Italy were very strong favourites. So there might be a suggestion from market makers that Belgium might not be that hot favoured-wise. But we will see. They did come from behind, but that was against 10-man Italy. But they were comfortably down against 11-man Italy. Germany and Netherlands is too much of a derby-style match to get my interest tonight, but highly likely we could see both teams to score if these two ignite and don't cancel each other out. Italy, as I've alluded to, been a real standout. When you're odds-on favourite against Belgium, then you know you're on the right track. This was a very good performance until Pellegrini was sent off and then sudden switch around. But 1.9 pre-match favourite against a side as good as Belgium means that the market has taken you to their heart. So take that 1.18. It looks like it could repeat 2 or 3 goals. If they're scoring 2 goals against Belgium, then I think they're highly likely to be scoring 2+ goals against Israel. So very tight in September, 9th of September, very tight 1-2 away win. So it might not be as comfortable as I think, but look at that 4-goal drubbing against France for the Israelis, and that 2-1 loss to Italy as well, and a 3-1 loss to Belgium. So we're expecting potential for both teams to score, but for Israel not to land a blow today. As we go down the leagues, we get to lower standard teams or lower quality teams. Georgia, Albania, I wouldn't be touching. Iceland, Turkey, I would be highlighting this one, favouring Turkey. I like potential for goals with the Turkey side, and they are on the improve. So I don't know if that's just my assumption, but you see the 3 goals there already against Iceland. So this is a bit like Greece yesterday. Why are they not shorter price? 1.8, similar price to Greece. Greece were emphatic yesterday, but did have home advantage. That would be a match I would target this evening, favouring Turkey. Wales and Montenegro, it's a must-win territory for Wales under Craig Bellamy. Unbeaten so far under the new manager, and a very warm order today against Montenegro. Probably FIFA rankings will show us why Wales are warm order. This is something you can do in internationals just to get a handle on the teams. Something for you to gauge teams by is the rankings. We don't get that with the under-21s, alas. We do get it here. So Wales and Montenegro. We go to UEFA. Wales, well, must be on a second page, so that's not a good sign already. Outside the top 15. Let's start again. Wales are 29th. Montenegro 74th. So immediately in your mind, you've got an obvious favouring of the Welsh with home advantage as well. Certainly one to eye this evening. I think that's one of the more readable ones. Sweden should get a solid result against Estonia. And Slovakia and Azerbaijan, perhaps one of those for you to check out the rankings again. If you don't know the sides that well, 42nd against 113th. Once you get outside the top 100, then there's an obvious bias towards the Slovakians. So those look eminently readable today. The ones I've starred are the ones I'm comfortable in making a pre-match kind of prediction on, or certainly matches I think will be the most tradable. But as ever, in-play stats will reveal all, and we will see. We might get an Albanian lead, and Georgian in-play stats might be quite solid. For instance, we might get an Icelandic lead as well. I would favour that. Under 21s, Netherlands under 21s against Sweden. I would expect goals today. And we've got the Irish today as well. The English Professional Development League, don't forget that, for over 2.5 goals. Watch the goals flood in. Famous last words, of course, it'll end 0-0 in a Sheffield derby. Ireland, Derry City against Sligo. Just have a quick look at the standings. Will give you an indication of why Derry is a strong favourite today. Third in the league and playing sixth. This is a Derry City with only 7 defeats all season. This could be a kind of a redemption match. You see they're not won in the last 4. Very strong odds-on favourite today, suggesting a sudden lurch back to form against a kind of side who they could beat to end their winless run of late for Derry. Bohemians of St Pat's, not too hot on that, and Wexford St Harps, Finn Harps, 2.3 the favourite. No, thank you. So Europa night tonight. You've seen me be very quiet this international break, and it's deliberate. I find these very hard to call, or rather pass on and trust. If we're laying a draw second half in an international, and it's 1-1, it's not necessarily going to see that second half goal, are you? Because we're dealing with the upper echelons, and it could be defensively sound, etc. So that's what makes it tough. But I've got a nice set of matches today. I've been not been as confident in reading matches as I have today. We've got plenty of stars. I'll be up and about for the early 5 o'clocks, 7:45s. Well, they could tempt me out. It's quite a few readable matches, that's for sure, and some overs action if you fancy it. Don't forget to check your overs if you fancy it. Standings and 2.5 or over and under. You can have a quick look by group. So League A, 3 out of 3 overs for the Scots and for the pork and cheese. Israel and Italy, 3 out of 3 over 2.5 goals. So you'd be expecting that, particularly with Italy's odds today at 1.18. The last head-to-head was very tight, just 1 goal in it. So it looks as if this, certainly League A, is full of goals. Unless you start going down the groups to Group 4, it's suddenly lurching towards an unders. So you'd be focusing more on Groups 1 and 2 for your overs and the first 3 in Group 3. Plenty of ammunition there. You can go by leagues, and what it does in this instance, the top of the league is the top of the league for overs, not for points. So it's really good. That's thanks to Paul for that. That could just give you something to home in on this evening as far as neutral plays is concerned. So I'll be up and around at 5 o'clock. There's been some tasty tennis on. We had Jannik Sinner against Djokovic yesterday. Jannik Sinner backable at a high of 1.8, won the first set and won the second comfortably. So it's a changing of the guard now in the tennis world when Novak's getting easily beaten in 2 straight sets. It is a real change. Don't have any big names at the moment. They're probably quietening down with the Australian Open. A couple of months to go. Lots of lower tier stuff today, but China will still attract the big names. Got a few odds on favourites there. So plenty, perhaps, to follow with the market, particularly these three, if their opponents win the first set. Osaka, my niece, is there at the moment. Well, Japan. So fantastic stuff. So nothing much doing for me tennis-wise, but yesterday was an absolute treat with his humdinger, Sinner and Djokovic. Novak nearly won the first set. That's why you got nearly double odds against Jannik. That's a rarity to see Novak outsider like that, but he still had that fighting spirit first set. So I'll see you, well, it is my day off. And as you know, there's probably not going to be any trades, but don't fear. We have a very interesting week coming up. Friday, Dortmund and St. Pauli, newly promoted St. Pauli. Going to give Dortmund something to think about. Monaco and Lille, odds on Alaves, Real Valladolid, along with Vallecano. All the V's in La Liga tend to be gettable. Good to see them up and about. Probably going to get some secondary leagues as well. Austrian Bundesliga and some Italian Serie B perhaps. League 2 as well, Newport. So I'll be doing the research for this. Leeds and Sheffield United, newly relegated match. And we've got the Premier League and Premier League Cup for the under-21s. French League 2, probably Italian Serie B, Spanish Segunda B, German Bundesliga B. It's all good stuff. Far more readable than international football. So I hope you'll bear with me, because you're going to not know what to do with yourself from Friday onwards. Okay, we've got a brilliant coupon on Saturday. But the London derby, Lopetegui, West Ham were given a chance last week against Ipswich to end their woeful run, and they took full control of that match and won easily. But there's likely to be more struggles. Tottenham, watch out, that 2-3 defeat to Brighton. Pre-Europe, watch out there. Interesting to see Ipswich favourite against Everton. That's a strange one there. I would still eye a couple of goals from Everton today. You could see those odds of 3 for Everton might be value. So I want to back them now. If you can get 3s, you could see the odds drop. Man United, not a good trading side at all. Newcastle and Brighton. Brighton will be absolutely buoyant. Newcastle have to be very careful. Both teams to score seems impossible there. Southampton-Leicester is a bit of a chance for Southampton to get a win. Ditto for Leicester, both newly promoted and both struggling this season. Arsenal could be extremely good value after this at 1.67. We've got to look future. We've got more Champions League coming up Tuesday, Wednesday. We've got to be very careful because it's the international break, coming off the back of the international break. And if we're heading into a Champions League, which we are, this weekend is going to be very, very difficult for these names to cope, particularly when they're away from home. So just be very careful with these matches for the likes of AC Milan, Brugge, Monaco, Aston Villa, Juve, Sporting Lisbon, the Arse are away. That's why they're 1.67. Post-international fatigue for Mikel Arteta. How do I cope with that? Then I've got to try to win 3 points at the weekend. Then I've got to prepare for a Champions League home match. It's an easy assignment, Shakhtar Donetsk, so that's okay. But we've got to make sure the likes of Leandro Trossard playing for Belgium tonight doesn't get injured, etc. So we're going to have some big issues this weekend. That's why that Dortmund match against St. Pauli is going to be intriguing on Friday. And I keep showing you weekend after weekend when it's post-international, pre-Champions League, or even if it's just pre-Champions League. 1 or 2 of these are going to slip up. It's up to us to find out why. And I tend to be a little hesitant when they're odds on favourite and they've conceded first. Just going to make sure that you've not got a much changed side. We might see that for Villa in their domestic match on Saturday or Sunday. They're away at Fulham. They could be vulnerable. But they are scoring 2 goals away from home. Arsenal are away, could be vulnerable. Have a look at the likes of AC Milan. Paris Saint-Germain are at home. Bayer Leverkusen are at home. Bayern are at home. So that's an advantage. AC Milan similarly advantaged at home, Juventus as well. But they're playing a really good informed side in Lazio. Real Madrid, they are away from home. That could be potentially vulnerable for them. Did have an early start to the season with a couple of 1-1s. So it's an intriguing weekend. They don't make life easy for us, do they? Post-international, pre-Champions League. Watch out for some upsets and some underperformances from some of the Champions League sides this Saturday and Sunday and Friday. So we'll look on that with interest. Have a great day. I might see you for the 5 o'clocks, but as you know, it's been a very tough week trying to eke out a trade or two in this international football.